Hey, welcome, all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in to check out your boy, P Funk, thinking right out here in the lab. What I do for you. I'm in the book. I got two quick lessons. Well, one quick one, another a little long, but two good lessons. Let's go. Rightism, 25 rules to live by. Storytelling, story with a message. There's a message in the story for life. I give life lessons. You tune in to receiving them. I appreciate you. We got a good thing going. Let's do what we do. Right thinking mission, and that's what I'm on, is to enlighten, inspire, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment. Right thinking way of life through mental and spiritual discipline. Practice daily will help and guide you to obtain your goal of reaching spiritual enlightenment, aka know thyself. My mission is that all right thinkers know thyself. If you're a right thinker, your goal is to know thyself. You see where we're going with this? Let's get that together. So I asked the question. You know you well when I'm through. That's what I do. It's rhetorical. But if you don't have an answer for yourself, tune in. I can help you with that. Yeah, that's what I do. A person who knows not and knows not that they know not is foolish. Disregard them. A person who knows not and knows that they know not is simple, but you can teach them. That's why I do what I do for you. Stay tuned. I got more for you. A person who knows not and believe and think that they know is dangerous. Avoid them. I do. A person who knows and knows not that they know is spiritually asleep. I can awaken them. I'm the spiritual alarm clock here to wake you up with knowledge of self. That's what I do for you. A person who knows and knows that they know is wise. Follow them. All these persons reside in you, right thinkers? Know thyself and to my eye be true. Let's talk about I teach philosophy, right thinking. This is a philosophy on wrong thinking. See what they got to say about that, and then we're gonna get into relationships. Good lesson. All right, let's rock. The, oh yeah. Wrong thinking. Wrong thinking implies what? Misunderstanding of the nature and purpose of life. Some of us don't have a clue, and for those who think they do, don't have a clue. So they wrong thinking, wrong doing, and all that leads to what? Reincarnation. Okay, that's for starters. Wisdom, excuse me, is gained from listening, studying, experiencing, reflecting, and taking out quiet time to what? Think about what has been learned and meditate on it. Sound familiar? That sound like right thinking, yeah. But it's the opposite because these are things that you should do. Wrong thinkers don't do these things. What's this? What's this? Wrong thinking. Okay. I love right thinking. But wrong thinking is characterized by a mind what? That thinks in a way which promotes, you ready? Your lower animal nature. Thoughts of fighting, fight or flight, survival, sexual and overindulgence, and violence, deceit, anger, and greed. That's all qualities of a wrong thinker. See? When you want to do something wrong, all you got to do is take what's right and flip it. Just do the opposite. And that's what the satanic rituals are about. We do it for one use, they use it for a different purpose. Same philosophy, same concept, they just flipping it. My man Alistair Crowley was the master of that. They say he's the most evil man going because he learned all his secrets and then he inverted it. But as a student of the secrets, they tell you you can do that, but and also you know that there's a consequence and the price that comes with that. If you Don't mind paying the price? Have at it. When I was not caring about being locked up, not caring about prison, until I went. When I got out, I ain't going back there. Okay? Wrong thinking is, well, I just do it better this time. Right thinking is get out the game, retire yourself, and move on to something else. I always wanted to be a drug dealer, a hustler, so I had to get that out my system. Got it out when I was young. That's a good thing. We ain't going there. But wrong thinking is doing the wrong thing for all the wrong reasons. But in your mind, you justify them. Wrong thinking leads to wrong actions. Wrong action lead to consequences that you may not want to pay. But once you make that decision to do the action, it's no longer a question about paying the consequences because you're going to pay them. Mm-hmm. The devil gonna always get his due. Okay, understand that. Now, with all those negative qualities in the uncontrolled mind, the ignorant mind, watch this. There is a endless pursuit of sensual pleasures of the flesh and worldly pleasures, items, things, fancy cars, a lot of money, big house, fancy, all that good stuff. We live for that. Wrong thinkers, that's all they live for. This is their desires, and which what is never satiated, never satisfied. Okay? The desires of the flesh, when you get it, you're going to want more. Desires for things and good stuff, when you get them, you want more. Or you're worrying about how to keep it. But again, wrong thinking leads to all wrong actions. If your thinking process is wrong, if you thinking wrong, I let that in. That's gonna be the last part of the statement. What's this? The mind is perpetually in pursuit of what? Fantasies. Of what? Your illusions, your desires, the things that you think will make you happy, make you feel good, yeah. Make you look good, yeah. But it ain't happiness. And because you're wrong thinking, everything you're doing with that mindset is going to be wrong. Watch this. Stay with the thought process. If you're thinking wrong, watch this. So, thus, your mind never finds hotel. That's peace. An agitated mind is never at peace, never at rest. Why? It's constantly doing, thinking on what? The next scheme, the next hustle, the next whatever it is you're trying to get done. That's why it's never at rest. And so the soul that identifies with this agitated mind, what happens? It will also think and believe as the agitated mind, and thus will also not find peace. So you lose on both ends. The mind agitated, your soul got to go with the flow, so you're not happy camper at all. Wrong thinking leads to that kind of thought process and that kind of environment for yourself. You created that. And what's this? This psychic is rendered incapable of higher intellect. Why? Excuse me, is incapable of higher intellectual achievements. Why? Because the mind is ever occupied with what? Pleasures of the flesh and worldly, physical, survival related concerns. Everything that it ain't need to be, all it's worried about is all the things that's not good for it. And what's this? Searching for oneself in the world is in pursuit of an illusion. Again, nothing out here gonna bring you happiness and peace in here. As you think, and there you go. Wrong thinkers, this is the caveat to that. As you think, so shall you become. So if you're a wrong thinker, you're gonna be a wrong doer, and you're gonna go down the wrong path. And guess what? There's consequences for doing that. Okay? And yeah, you have to pay them. Okay? Watch this. Now, the extension of the intellect, which we possess for the survey of what? Transcendental things, in very narrow but most ample when it shall what? Precede with the the felicity of self-consciousness. If you're thinking wrong, you're not thinking about nothing that's right, nothing good, nothing prosperous. So there's no progress. There's nothing for your self consciousness to grab onto to help. It's on its own and it's just hanging out in the breeze, so to speak. Why? Because the all is mind, and what you think is what you are. And when you're thinking wrong, you are wrong. But the idea that the all is mind and the universe, aka God, the cosmic, is mental. The first law of Hermetic principles is all is mental. They told you that a long time ago. Mind as matter may be transmuted from state to state, degree to degree, condition to condition, pole to pole, vibration to vibration. See where we're going with this? But transmutation is a mental art. You only can change if your thoughts change, if the way you think change. Because what you think is what you are. True words have never been spoken. Watch this. It takes a strong disciple to rule over what? The mountainous negative thoughts and the consistent and constantly to go to the essence of the meaning of those thoughts because they are wrong. So you're not really giving a second thought. You're just thinking wrong and just going with it. Just like a person, they think they got something and they just ain't gonna be denied. They ain't no, they just gonna keep on going. Let them go. This means, watch this. Now, as mental complexities increase and your thoughts is negative, thus will the depths of your decadence and challenge both will be revealed. The real you gonna come out. And if you're not thinking right, the real you gonna look real bad. And that's just a fact. Okay? The secrets of the universe cannot be discovered through study and research alone. What? But the honest search for truth and the development of the incorruptible mind. That's the right thinking mind. But if you have that wrong thinking mind, you are corrupted mind. And the qualifiers, you the seeker for what? Higher instruction. When you fail, test the Mayat at Judgment Day because you only made the third ring, that means you need more Mayat practice. That's what that means, okay? And you'll be back to what? Get that practice in the next life, okay? Now, right quick, see how the clock was running. I got a page of information. Ooh, that's a lot of stuff. Let's rock. I'm gonna see if I can get this lesson in. This is on relationships of all kinds. I'm gonna go through the whole gambit of relationships for you. Okay, this should be fun. All right, let me see if I remember this right quick. Relationships. It should be clear by now to you, the reader, that he or she is not your body. We all know that. Moving on. But the mind. Okay? The mind sense, nor the ego personality. Further, it must be clear that the world, as our senses perceive, which are the five senses, smell, sight, hearing, touching, and tasting, that's how the brain receives the information from the body. When you are mentally competent, you don't need the body. The brain works on your command. Okay? That's what we're talking about. And perceive it, watch this. When the senses, the world of our senses, perceived it as not what it appears to be. The world is an illusion. Everything here we think of real is illusion. We've been through that already. Okay, moving on. At least intellectually, you must be now what? You must now understand that your true identity is what? The spirit. And what is the spirit? God. So understand that your true identity is God, the spirit, which is neither male nor female. Why? The physical body has to be male or female. Spirit, neither. So therefore, what is the nature of relationships? Ding, 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 ding. Here you go. In the physical form, in the physical realm, right here. And what is their purpose? God told you. Be fruitful and multiply. Okay? You can't do that with man on man and woman on woman. That agenda won't bring life. So to make that a lifestyle to me is like a dead end. I don't get the purpose. If you want to have pleasures of the flesh with another man, as a man, a woman, that's fine. But you can't make that a lifestyle. Why? It don't produce nothing. Again, relationship, excuse me. It should be opposites, male and female. Relationships with male and male, female and female. Mm, mm. Now, one must understand what that God, okay, one's higher self, which is the essence of who you really are, your true self, places one in situations for what? And relationships that's based on what? One's own karmic identity and desires of the flesh according to every individual. They have different perverted perversions. So everybody got their own desires. Okay. Thus, it is one's very own consciousness that draws one's relationships to one. As that consciousness changes and evolves, so too will what one's relationships and your karmic destiny. What you do, how you do, will reflect back on you. You do good stuff, you get good bad. You do bad, you know the deal. So thus our destiny is in our hands. It is not predestined. You can't tell me life is already no, 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 no. I don't side with that one. But rather we create it at every moment. Right there. We are creators of our own situations in life. We control our destiny. That's all. When you put yourself in a position, break the law, now the police got you. You're gonna be in the system. When you get caught up in that, how you get there? You put yourself there. You don't do that, they don't have you in the system. Okay, I ain't been in that system over 40 years, but I know it's there. I ain't trying to be bothered with that nonsense, okay? But everything that's there, you got to learn to walk around, manipulate around it. That's on you. Excuse me. Yeah. So our destiny is under our control. That's what they mean. Your control or your destiny. All right. But now in coming into the physical realm and vivifying matter, the physical body, remember the spirit and the physical body, that makes human. Mind again is mental. Matter is the physical part, that's the body. And watch this. The spirit gains experience how? Through various situations where in human form, in the process we call living life. Okay? Every day, it's a process. It's a program. And we just get with the program, do what you do, maintain, and we call it life. Okay, rat race, the dog get whatever you want to call it, but that's what it is. Once you come out of your mother's womb, you become a player in the game called life. You got to get with the movement or get run over. And the spirit is what? Continuously striving, evolving to what? To return to its original state. I keep trying to explain to you. But the spirit wants to go back home. It don't have no control over that until what? It get enlightened. And then it's happy. Now it's rejoicing. Now you're a happy camper. Now you're blessed out. You have hotel, supreme peace. Why? Because I'm going home. If you had ever been in prison, when they give you that date, all you got in your mind is when you get out of there. Okay. In this world, spirit, once it get wake up, it know it got a date. It know it got a date, so it's going home. Okay, back to its maker. Our spirits are alone. Okay, but the idea is to return to its original state of what? Oneness. Hotep, supreme peace. It lost what? When did you lose that? When you became attached to this physical form in the physical world, born back into what? Life with spirit and the body. You're back here to play the game. Why? The spirit didn't get what it needed to go home, so it's giving up the body. The body can't live without the spirit. They got to go together. And now the problem arises what? When the mind believes itself to be separate entity from others, and it develops what? An ego. The ego starts from the crib. Little kids, babies, They start the ego. They know if they cry, they know they make people will wait on them. People will serve them. Natural. Animals do it too. That's instinctive. So that's not no. That ain't that ain't a big thing. No, all that's what happens. But once that ego starts to fester, it starts to grow. It starts to evolve like the spirit. Okay, and it's growing in what the wrong way, and what it forgets itself. The spirit now searches for what? Unity, oneness, practice Maya, the Tao, but in believing what the mind tells it through the senses, the spirit, the soul, now it identifies itself with the ego, that the information, and thereby begins to search for now unity and oneness in the way that the limited senses and the mind have convinced it to. Childhood is an important period, again, in what? Developing one's senses of identity and correct understanding about the nature of reality. We don't teach our young the truth. We give them a bunch of fairy tales. We give them what they gave us, which is the same watered down nonsense that don't help them know themselves. They got to go through life with that nonsense and then start to reach out on their own, search for the truth in life, and start finding it on their own. Why? Because they didn't get it at home. Okay? Teaching, educating starts at the home. Relationship, parent, you're supposed to teach your child how to survive in the world. Not to be like you, not to be what you did, all that nonsense. Okay? Let them be themselves. You give them what you think, give them what they need, and let them figure it out for themselves. But you give them the truth. One thing my kids always tell you, I stay honest with them, kept it real, didn't care. Why? That's what they needed. To this day, they respect that. They love me for that. And your ego personality, as you go through life, develops its own desires and it conjures up its own ideas as to how to achieve what? The fulfillment of those desires. Now you're starting to the wheels are turning, how you can manipulate, how you can will and deal. Those are all the things that the ego festers, okay? And your desires, your fulfillment is of two types. You ready? You got ignorant and you got wise. Maya, balance, your choice. You can pick to choose yourself, serve yourself, or do what's right and be rewarded for that action. I keep telling you, I don't do the religious thing, but God ain't religion. God is spiritual and God is mental. When you understand that, I'm gonna teach you how to get His attention and earn your blessings by what? Just doing the right thing. Had a relationship with God. The ignorant form. Now let's talk about that right quick. The ignorant form of desire fulfillment is based on an erroneous understanding of what? Of the nature of one's desires. You think you're supposed to, get what I want. Not all the time, but the nature of one's desires and the way to resolve them. All desires arise from the need to what? Regain the feeling of what? Infinite bliss. That's what the soul, the spirit is in search of. That's back home. Here in the physical world, it's kind of hard. Why? Because the person may be ignorant and won't take that initiative to do the things that you need to get back home with. So you just here going through the motions, okay? But it's wanting to have that feeling, which comes, watch this, that feeling of infinite bliss comes from, you ready? Achieving unity and supreme peace within oneself. Thus, the wise form of desire is what? The desire to attain enlightenment, to know thyself. Due to the indications, the identification with what? The mind and body, we search for fulfillment, bliss. How? By trying to satisfy the desires of the flesh, which arise in the mind and body, but not really understanding what? That the mind and body are only instruments that are to be what? Controlled by you. When the spirit searches for unity by establishing an intimate, there we go, relationship right there with what? with other individuals. You seeking for unity. You trying to find the other half. You looking for a soulmate. Remember that? My soul flavor, that nonsense. Okay. The Greeks got a story where man and woman was one entity. Two heads, male and female parts, four arms, four legs, okay. But split apart. Now they spend the rest of their life what? Trying to become one again. That's why we have sexual intercourse. Okay. Two people trying to become one. Okay, the conceptually. And we are individuals. And the individual are two people in one, spirit and matter, becoming an individual. We become happy when or why? Because the performance, ready, of sense-based activities. Mm-hmm. And temporarily allows us to what? To release tension, aka orgasm. That feeling, that few seconds that you go through for a few seconds. It don't last but a few seconds. Come on now, whatever. But it ain't that long. But the work you put in, all the stuff you get into that to get to that thing, that's a lot of work. Okay, young people don't mind, but you get older, man, that's a lot of work. And I ain't trying to be up all night. No, I did that when I was a kid. Man, I ain't got time for to jump up and down all night. And all you old guys, take them blue pills, whatever y'all doing with them, new one. What's with everybody want to have big dicks and fuck all night? You did that when you was a kid. You don't need all this stuff to do that with. But now, the senior citizens, they catching it. Why? Because them old guys are dropping pills and they going on the prowl. They beating poor ladies out. But your physical tension, that's releasing, that's all physical. That's not mental. But it's the tension in the mind. But the physical body releases through orgasmic pleasure. And it just feels so good. It just, yeah. Okay, but that ain't the end all be all. And this temporary, and that's what it is, this temporary release of mental and physical tension, the agitation, is movement toward what? Another illusion of peace. Because once the tension has built up, we must now what? Begin to seek release. Situations will what? Will provide what? That same time to release. Sometimes this is attained through watching television, overeating, smoking, shopping, sexual indulgence, drugs. All of these are things that you do to yourself that you think gives you pleasure, and you do it in what? Not balance. You do it in indulgence. And for some, when the frustration level builds beyond their ability to cope, uh-oh, Scooby, uh-oh, that can't be good. Now they attempt, you ready? Suicide. They can't handle it. They want out. Okay, trapdoor of is. Watch this. They attempt suicide, or if they perceive someone is a threat to their happiness, or if they harbor deep resentment towards someone. Oh, this thing good. And from the present lifetime, or in a previous one, they may become violent with that person. Of course, they remind him or remind them of somebody else. So, okay. And that person, even to the point, that even kill him, murder. And since this type of activity is all based on an erroneous misunderstanding, the desires were never truly met and thereby resurfaced again and again and causing that endless loop cycle that's based on ignorance. Can't let it go. Just can't let it go. Can't get past it. And the peace, release of tension we experience is only a glimpse of what is waiting for us in what? The enlightened state. I'll drop the pen on that one. I'm almost done. All that goes away. All that is devoured what? When you get enlightened. Those are all illusionary. Those are all thoughts. Like a dream. It don't do you no good to wake up from a dream where you was a millionaire and wake up it ain't there. But you want that dream to be real because it felt so real. But it was a dream. Thoughts are the same way. And dreams are just longer thoughts, that's all. But they like thoughts, they come and go. And whatever your mindset is on, whatever you're going to dream that when you go into the dream state. Subconscious picks up everything and it just runs the reel back when you go to sleep and play the movie, so to speak, over and over. How you go where I'm at. Now, let me wrap this up. Excuse me. Ooh, no. I'd stop right here. God dog it. The lesson went a little longer, but I'll be back with part two. That's going to be a two-parter. But right thinkers is all about you having control and maintaining a relationship with your higher self. That's what we're going to talk about the next second half, relationship with God. In closing, right thinkers, may y'all live to be 100, may 100 minus the date. I never know my right thinkers passed away. I'll be right back. I got more for you.